Okay, so a few days ago, actually, I was presenting at a demo day, and I was presenting my startup Beep. And once the demo day finished, I received a feedback from investors and from organizers that my pitch was one of the best, if not the best. And many people asked me on Twitter to make actually not a tutorial, but just to explain how I was, creating my pitch, how I was structuring it, so that investors really loved it and people in general really loved it because it did really stand out. And I have a good experience with creating presentations in past as well. So what I will do today is just I will walk through you through the slides, and I will explain you why I did what I did. And I'm sure if you follow these tips, your presentation will almost definitely be better than your competition's presentations, unless they're also very good at presenting, obviously. So, and if you want to watch actually that previous vlog, I have here a vlog where I'm talking about how I was pitching at startup demo day vlog, how it went, and so on. And in general, I'm sharing my startup journey on my YouTube channel as well as on my Twitter, where I'm posting weekly updates about what is going on with my startup. So, and by the way, here you can follow me, Hustle Fred, and as YouTube is just Hustle with double E. So let's get started. Okay, let's see if everything is fine. Yeah, we're recording. So most presentations actually start with presenting their logo and telling what they do, and I believe that's wrong because you should start with the problem first. And what I'm starting with, like Meet Max, he wants to ask his team to make changes to the site. Okay, that's the person that I'm starting with because I want to tell a story. And then I say, so Max has two options. His option A is to make screenshots, and then I explain why this option is bad because it's time consuming, creating every screenshot is annoying, and blah blah blah. Okay, I paint the whole picture why it's painful. Then I say his option B is to make a screen recording. I also say that it's time consuming, and then I paint the whole picture again why it is painful. I go through every step that this person needs to do in order to actually create the screenshot or the screen recording and then share it with their teammates. So again, I explain the pain and why why these options are bad. And then once I have explained the pain, I actually go to the solution and I get okay, or he can use our browser extension called Beep. So here are a few things to note. First of all, you see I don't have a lot of text here, just one sentence, and most of those things I'm actually talking. And the same here, I don't have a lot of text. I would even argue that I could have even less text. I would just be his options are A, make screenshots, and then because I'm talking to investors, I could just tell them the pains because you need to open the screenshotting tool, you need to make the screenshot, you need to add arrows, circles, you need to save the image, you need to send it to your teammate, you need to open the chat, you need to send it to your teammate. So it's a whole process, right? And then I say, oh, you can use our browser extension Beep. And here I start to explain what alternative do we offer to screenshots and screen recordings. Okay, and this is very important because investors need to understand, obviously, what is your solution and what you are doing. Here originally I had a GIF which was showing how the extension works, and if you don't know about Beep, you will understand in a second. But organizers told me that GIFs may not always play in PDF, so that's why I actually had to create screen by screen explanation. So, or you can use our browser extension Beep. We see a screen. Click anywhere to create a comment. So he can click anywhere to create a comment, and as soon as he clicks, as you can see, a comment box pops up. After that, he can actually write instructions and tag his teammate. In our case, it's Susan. And as you can see, that's also very important. You need to talk about real people. So, for example, I'm not saying that he's going to tag some random teammate. I'm saying that he's going to tag his teammate Susan, and he's going to ask her to see if she can provide him with other options for this title. As soon as he clicks send, his teammate Susan will instantly get a notification in her browser, and I show how. And when she clicks on that, Susan will see where Max tagged her, on which screen, on which website, where on the screen, and what Max told her to do. So I walk through every step of the process to explain investors what I am doing and why I'm doing it. Why what I am doing is different, basically. As you can see, minimum text, just big, large, beautiful pictures. And only then I proceed to say, in other words, Beep is the fastest way to provide instructions and feedback on the web. So that's how I present first time the startups that I'm working on. Okay, I explain the problem, I show the solution, and then I'm showing, okay, via Beep, and that's what we do. So now then I want to also give some advantages. Basically, I'm still on the product. Okay, I want to tell exactly why this is definitely better in case some investors still have issues understanding, because people who have a background in management, they will understand this, especially product managers. They will understand this pain point. Product managers, developers, designers, and so on. But people who are from other fields, they may not understand the problem. So I proceed to say that with Beep, teams can provide feedback and instructions 4 times faster. So you see the difference between what I did and what most other startups did. They had lots of text. I don't do that. I actually created more slides, and with each slide I provide a little amount of text, because it's easier to look at the slides like that. And then I talk more than I have text. Okay, so I have some nice slide with some nice abstract shapes here just to make it visually more appealing. Nice font, and then I obviously highlight, for example, 4x with the things that are more important. And so I tell that they can work 4 times faster, which is a big deal. So even if you don't understand the problem, you can still look, wait, it's 4 times faster than other solutions. That must be really cool. And then I proceed to say again, that means if you can work 4 times faster, that means you can complete more tasks daily, and you can also get faster development times. And as you can see here, I'm using emojis. I really like using emojis because everyone loves emojis, and it's a language that everyone understands when you just put some nice cute picture, and people also really liked that. So if you are bad at design and if you cannot find some nice illustrations, pictures, blah blah, just use emojis. It's that simple. Then I updated my slide a bit, but still it's fine. So then wait, is it still? Yeah, it's still that one. Wait, that's actually not the right. I mean, it's almost the right pitch, but it's a little bit different. So let me just here. Oh, that's how it looked originally. 4 times faster feedback and instructions. You see, 4x was like large. That's why I'm saying it was different, and minimum text. And then I proceed to explain the difference between me and competition. And as you can see, I do it in a very minimal way, because I have only 5 minutes. I don't have that much time to explain all the differences, but I explain that our vision is mainly different, because while our competition is focused on helping companies to report bugs and create notes on the site, Beep is focused on team communication. That's how I explain it. And then I proceed to show what is our grandiose plan. And I actually worked on this design for quite some time. I put this picture, this guy here, this person here is just looking at the sky, and the text grandiose plan. And then when I talk about it, I even do like our grandiose plan, basically, just doing some gestures. By the way, I use hands a lot as well during the presentation. I feel like it makes things more interesting. Obviously, don't overuse hands. And the presentation itself is better than my skills to pitch it. I mean, my skills to pitch it are also fine, but it's not as good as the presentation. So then I talk about grandiose plans. And as you can see here, I don't even have text, because if I just say like what I want to say, people will understand. And what I say here is we are planning to integrate Beep with all the management platforms like ClickUp, Trello, Asana, Monday.com, and blah blah blah. And people instantly understand, okay, this is integrations because I said integrate. So it's you need to put visuals that people instantly understand, even without having too much text in the presentation, because you're going to say it anyway. And then again, minimum, I don't have here text at all. I just say, okay, so as soon as you create a comment, your comment will automatically pop up as a task in your management platform. And as you can see also, visually people understand what's going on here. This is your management platform, this is a comment, and this is how they're connected. And then I proceed to show some additional cool features. This is also very important, because you need to show them what is the future for you, like what does the future hold for you, especially if your solution is very simple, because my solution is pretty simple. That's what the feedback that I got, which is good, but at the same time, I don't want it to look just like a feature. I want it to look like a serious tool, not just one feature, right? So I'm saying that present to say some future plans, like, we're going to add annotations, we're going to add drawing on the screen, we're going to add editing the screen for the whole team so that the whole team can collaborate no matter where they're located. And again, I have here the same text, but just the pictures change. The reason why I did is because just easier for a person to read that text and then look at the pictures change. So when you have a lot of text, again, it's not good. Then I'm using emojis as well. So, and then basically I'm presenting our mission. And so in other words, our mission is to create future web collaboration and communication for teams. So here I explained the problem, I explained the solution, I explained what the future holds for us, I explained our vision and our mission statement. That's very important if your product is very early, because you need to convince investors that this is a amazing thing. You need to have like a wow effect. You need to show investors that you're aiming for big things, especially if you're very early and you don't have that much traction going on, right? So let's see if everything is good. So then obviously, we come to the more business things like traction, how you're going to make money and all that stuff. And another thing which is also very important here is that you need to have good transition between screens. So in terms of your storytelling, for example, here, I say, well, his options are A and B, and then I get, or instead, he can use our browser extension called Beep. So I don't just stop the slide and be like, okay, next slide, blah, blah, blah. No, I actually have a transition in terms of story from each slide to another slide. So for example, here when I explain, I say, in other words, Beep is the fastest way to provide feedback and instructions online. So you see, in other words, that's also very important, because if I just stopped and I was like, okay, next slide, Beep, fastest way to provide instructions and feedback on the web. It's there is no connection between slides. You need to have connection between slides. And then even here, when I go from this to this slide, for X fast feedback and instructions, I tell that we started using Beep internally, and we did some internal testings, and we actually found out that with Beep you can have 4 times faster feedback and instructions. And that's how I transitioned from this to this. So the transition is very important to keep the listeners engaged throughout the whole presentation. And even here, when I talk about competition, I say, okay, they are focused on bugs and notes, we are focused on communication. Then I proceed to say, and this is how we're going to do it. And then I present our grandiose plan. So again, there must be a few words or one sentence that helps you to transition from previous slide to the next slide. So logically, it makes sense. It's not just some random slides that you placed, okay? And even here, for example, when I say our mission statement, and then I say, okay, but now you're probably wondering, how are we going to make money? Well, for the starters, we have a free plan. That's how I transitioned. You see how I changed from this to this? That's exactly what I was doing when I was standing there. I was clicking at the right, at the specific part in the sentence when I say, well, for the starters, we have a free plan. That's where I change the slide. And then I say, but obviously, we also plan to charge $12 per user per month for premium plans. So, and then here, for example, as you can see, I'm also using a lot of emojis, minimum text, so everything is very simple. I could place both of this on one slide, but again, the reason why I prefer to do things on separate slides is because each thought needs to be on a separate slide, because then you have minimum text and you can have some nice visuals and you can skip between slides faster. That's it. It's just like when you're watching a movie or a YouTube video, when there's an action scene and everything changes fast, you are more engaged, right? If you're watching, for example, a long video, most people are not that engaged. For example, you're just watching me talk, right? So this is not the most engaging video because I'm just explaining you things. But if you're watching some type of like entertainment video, and you would want things to change there fast so that you keep entertained. So the same is about presentation. Slides need to change fast, otherwise, listeners won't be entertained. And I've seen lots of presenters who would stand on one slide, stay on one slide for 1-2 minutes, and it's just too much. People want to see some visual changes, people want to get engaged. Even investors, they get bored if they even if you have amazing numbers, they will still get bored, so yeah. So, and here when I say this, for example, and then I say, in fact, this business plan has already been proven by many billion-dollar productivity tools. So this is how I transition from where I explain the business plan, and then I say this business plan has been proven to be successful, blah, blah, blah. I spent around 10 10 to 20 seconds per each. Actually, I would say even 10 seconds per each slide. Sometimes even less, 5 seconds, for example, for this slides. So it's almost like when you watch a YouTube video and everything's just bam, 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 instantly changing, and you're just engaged, and it's an interesting story. Okay, so privacy tools are huge. Then we go to early MVP traction. So here I say, in fact, there are many billion-dollar companies that has proven this business model to be successful. And then I go, okay, and you probably wonder, what are we doing to become one of those big companies? So that's how I transition from big companies to what we are doing, our early MVP traction. And then I say, for the starters, we launched our very early MVP a little bit more than a month ago, where we did testing with 100 people from 100 different companies, out of which 32 were product managers and 12 were CEOs. So you see, how many seconds was that? 10 seconds maybe, maximum. And then I go, and the results were really amazing. 90% of people said they prefer beep over screenshots. So again, 90% large green to make it appealing and visible. And say 80% said that, 80% said that they prefer beep over screen recordings. And when I said that, obviously I explained that the results were good. And now I'm planning to show them what we have planned for this year. So because I showed that the results of the testing were good, I'm telling them, and then I go, okay, and based on this result, our plans for 2023. So you see, there is a transition based on this result, and then I switch. Our plans for 2023 are to onboard 1,600 teams. So again, there is a transition. And then obviously I want to show them how much money we can make with that. And I go, okay. And I go to onboard 1,600 teams. And then I go, and with a 19% conversion rate on average, there are 300 paying teams with 10 users per team. That is 432,000 USD of annual recurring revenue. So there needs to be transition. And you can even here, just two large words. And with some background to make it stand out. Here I have a little bit more, but still I go step by step through each. Like go trying to paint teams with 10 users per team. It's $432,000 of annual recurring revenue. So you need to go through everything step by step, and you need to make sure that you keep things minimal, I would say, because I believe that if investors get interested, and that's what your main goal is to get them interested, they will actually come to you after the presentation and they will talk to you and they will ask more details. So you don't need to tell the whole story of your company, every single detail. No, just tell the most interesting part, tell the most wow part, the things that you did great, okay? And then other details that investors want to ask, well, they will ask you that during the Q&A session, and they will also come to you if they get interested. It's just your main goal is to get them interested, okay? That is your main goal for the presentation. And then I say, and what are we applying in 5 years? 50,000 paying teams, $72 million of annual recurring revenue. And some of you who will watch this, they'll be like, wow, $72 million of annual recurring revenue, that is a lot. Yes, that is a lot, but I believe that you need to show the most, not the most optimistic, but what you actually believe in. And I do believe that, if we achieve this in our first year, we can definitely achieve this in 5 years. I do believe in that. So if you believe in that, just put it there, okay? I do believe in that, and obviously just because I believe doesn't mean that it will come true, but what is important is that you believe in your company, you believe in yourself, and you try to make the best that you can. And investors also want to see that you believe in your company, you believe that you can be really successful, and that you are motivated, you have big aspirations. Investors love to see that in the team. And so then I go to explain them, and here again how I transition from here to here, because I explained our big vision that we plan to get in 5 years to $72 million of annual recurring revenue. It's a big number, and then that's why the transition here is that, okay, you're probably wondering who is going to make the magic behind, who is the team that's going to make the magic behind this happen, because I explained some big numbers, I showed some big plans, and then I show, okay, who is going to make this happen? And then I start to explain about our team. I start with me, I tell a story about me, why I decided to we start working on Beep, blah blah blah. Then I say that a little bit later another teammate joined us, and then the latest addition to our team was blah 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 Ahmed. And so here, as you can see, and obviously I explain the strengths of each team member. I explain why they joined and what is the main purpose and what is their background. And then the very last is how much money we are raising, what we are going to spend it on. Again, here I didn't go too much into details because I believe that if investors get interested, they will just come to you and they will ask you more in-depth analysis of these numbers, like what they are going to spend on what and blah blah. You don't need to spend time talking about that. And then that's all. We are all in via Beep. And then at the very end, you would so also a very good advice that I received from one of the organizers, that I should end this on a really nice note, basically our plans for the future and something motivational. And what I said, that we are all in via Beep. We are creating a new way for teams to communicate, and we believe that we will change the way teams communicate and collaborate on the web forever. So basically I talked that we are going to change the future. I don't remember exactly what I said, but you get that. You need to say something big. If you just say if you just say thank you, if you just say that's it, thank you, it's a boring end, because the whole presentation was like bam 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 bam, we're going to do this, we're doing this, blah blah blah, and then just end thank you. No, like you have to end on a high note, and yeah. Whew, how long is this video? I mean, it must be really long, 21 videos. I hope this is going to be really helpful to you. Again, just to clarify, this presentation is for the times when you actually present it in front of the investor. Okay, you talk yourself. This is not something that you would send to an investor in an email, because in the email, when you send the presentation, you cannot present it, like you are not near the investors, just look at it through email. So on the email, you actually need to include more numbers and more text, and you need to make the presentation short if you're just sending it per email. But if you are going to present it in front of an audience, in front of investor in general, not only audience, but even if one-on-one investor, I would say just go with the structure. Okay. So that's it for me. Subscribe to Hustly. I don't know how to pronounce it, Hustle and with double E, for more startup videos and my startup journey in general, because I'm sharing like all the major steps that I'm going through with Beep. And let's see, where do I get, right? Bye bye guys.